most things I act also, I don't like my acting also. I like only probably one shot or another shot of mine. It was not about acting for me when I was doing theater. Theater is never about only actors or only directors or writers. It's like a performing art. It's a lot of things together, put together. So that's how it was for me.
I'm joined by an actor who's really like been making waves all around the world. Welcome, Kani Kusruti. Welcome to Outlook. It is such an honor to have you over here. We're doing this series called The Atypical Protagonist, where we're actually interviewing actors who don't necessarily fit into, like the genre definition of a Bollywood hero or heroine, and still, trying to carve their niche in that environment. I mean, you were there at the Critics' Choice Awards. I want to start off over there. It was quite the night you had. Like, I think you practically won in every category that you were nominated for.
Not in the best actress, but okay. That was my
Oh,
friend.
not in the best actress? Okay. Oh, interesting.
Darshana got which is best.
What a night for you to have.
Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of surreal. I'm assuming like when you're an aspiring actor, such an evening is kind of something that you've like kind of dreamt of, where you have multiple nominations, you have a lot of work.
No, I don't know. I've never thought of something like that, actually.
Okay.
The thing is, I just happened to be an actor, and it took a long while for me to even, kind of accept that, oh, okay, so this is my thing now. Okay, I am an actor. Okay. So it was a very slow process for me to even accept that, oh, maybe it's not a hobby anymore. It's probably the main thing. It's not something that you do sometimes. Oh, so that's how it's, especially acting in films was never the main thing. Being on screen is also a thing, part of acting or part of your life. That very slowly it came into me. So to be an actor was also not my dream or something that I thought ever. So no, this is not something I thought. So it came as a surprise when the nominations came. Only I was very happy. That is also because sometimes it's not that every actors get this kind of work, but it all came in a certain year. So why it happened like that, I think. But it was very humbling to get nominated in all those categories, and also along with a lot of actors that I absolutely admire. Especially to be nominated along with Darshana or Urvashi ma'am. Urvashi ma'am is someone everyone in Kerala absolutely adore her. So just to feel that was already way more than enough, actually.
What do you think, like your 20-year-old self probably, like what would they think about such an evening where you're, like nominated with these icons? There are so many of these, like really like very, very talented people in that room, is including your director for All We Imagine and your co-stars in Girls Will Be Girls. I mean, there's so many like wonderful people to be like nominated.
Again, that's what I'm saying. When I was 20-year-old, I hardly thought of cinema only. Unless as an audience only, I consumed it as like a viewer, like, oh, this cinema, this film was good or something. And I was quite a critic. I continued to be. So I don't even like all the things. I don't like most things I act also. I don't like my acting also. I like only probably one shot or another shot of mine. So those were not never the thing. But if I were to think, my 20-year-old self would be happy for, like, for example, there are actresses or male, female, all actors that I admire. And if I like someone and I think, oh, they should be able to, get more work. They should be able to be in share spaces where other amazing artists. So I can imagine a 20-year-old self of mine getting happy for someone who actually, if I admire that person, if I admire that artist or an actor, it's possible I could be like, that's really nice that kind of a thing happened like that. But I don't see for me anything like that. I think I was just like, in many interviews I've said, I think I'm pretty sure, but people say you can't really speak like that. But it's not about me. Objectively, I think I'm an average actor and I work hard a bit. And that last year, it just, a lot of projects I did the previous years it all came out at the same time. And it happened to be, most of them used to be good work. So this all happens because of that. That's how I see it. And even when I was 20, I don't think I mean, these are validations, these can make us happy, but I think ideally it is good work coming to us. It is about how audience perceive it and continue to work. That opportunity to continue to work is what an art, I think, genuinely make an artist happy. And also audience's reaction, and then like critics, and then for like everything. I think that is kind of the order of it, I feel, at least for me too. Yeah, I don't know, like these kind of things are not the thing anyway. I think it's a character, it's a story that you read, you get wow, or some actors that you really love. If you get to work with them, it's not to be in the same room of them. That I mean, we would love to be working together, right? So it was really nice to see everyone. It was like surreal to meet a lot of people. A lot of actors I admire was there at that day. And
like as a cliche goes, like you were mentioning also, I mean, it just happened that, you know, like a lot of your like releases came out in the same year. A lot of like your hard work kind of like paid off. Where you'd been like working I think you'd been working for like 15 years, right? By 2024.
Actually, but I've been working as an actor for 25 years. I started when I was in 10th standard, but in theatre. In cinema, here and there, I've done like tiny scenes, and not really, 1 or 2 films only. Or some, like in Trivandrum, there is this place called Seeded, and there is a lot of girls comes to learn, women comes to learn filmmaking, and sometimes they have diploma films. I used to just act here and there a little bit, but it was also not because I liked acting. All these women were friends of my parents or something, and they're like, "Hey, Kani, can you come do this thing?" Like that. It was just for fun. Yeah, like as a film, I think in 2009 actually, I started doing. Before, when I was in school also, I've done one part in a 1-day shoot in a Malayalam feature film. But otherwise, I was very much active in theatre between 2000 to 2010, like very much, like every year going to Bharang or Prithvi Festival. So I started when I was 15.
Do you remember the moment like when you decided to become like an actor in film? Like what was your relationship with films like growing up?
I always...
Like were you fascinated by films at all?
No.
Or you weren't? Okay.
In childhood, absolutely not. In fact, my parents were such film buffs. They would go watch every film. So they would take me along for even second shows that were not very common in Kerala back then, for the whole family to go watch a show in the night, you know.
Right.
Mostly men used to be in those
areas. Right.
Yeah. So, but my parents used to go, and they would take me along. Most films, in 5 minutes, I would fall asleep.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. I used to find it very boring. I'm like, why would everybody sit in a dark room and watch? I never was fascinated by cinema like that much. But whenever it was like, grandeur, like Jurassic Park, or like films like that, or Independence Day, or like films like that, like really larger scale, I used to be very amazed. Like very much like I want to watch those. Like anything about sky and universe and like those, or like some creature coming or aliens coming. Those films I liked. Everything
like sci-fi films.
Like sci-fi or fantasy.
Fantasy.
Anything human story, I'm like, I know this. When I look out, I know why are they showing me the same thing. I'm still the same in that, by the way. I'm like, I don't want to see human stories. I feel this. So I was not, but then dance I used to like. So Tamil films, when we watch, or some item dance, or like some dance number come, I am, especially Prabhudeva sir and A. Rahman, so both of their work coming together, I will just get up and watch that and then go to sleep. When the story happens, I didn't want to watch. Acting was also not my thing or anything, but then very slow, when I was 15 or 16, one of my cousin, we were talking. She was asking me, because I started doing theatre. She came to watch my play, and she was like, so you must be interested in, she's very bright girl. So she was like, you must be interested in acting. So what are the authors you like? What are the directors you like? Which are the films you like? And I've never even paid attention to directors. I'm like, who are directors? I just thought it's Mohanlal's film, it's Mammootty's film, like that is that much. I was horrible at these things, and I was like, okay. And then I started telling her some films. I'm like, these films, Malayalam cinema, I like. She said, oh, so you like Padmarajan? And then I realized, oh, there is one person who, wrote the story, screenplay, and directed this. So that's when I started being a little more curious about these things. Then I started watching films properly. While I like sci-fi or fantasy films, I also realized I like some human story films as well. Plus, I also realized I like a bit of surrealism or absurdism coming into the genre. So all that I started exploring, but still film was something that I would go and watch. Because it was not about acting for me when I was doing theater. Theater is never about only actors or only directors or writers. It's like a performing art. It's a lot of things together, put together. So that's how it was for me. Then I think by 2009 and 10, after I studied theater, more further studies I did because I wanted to know more about a certain style of theater. Then when I came back, I realized that there is hardly any money I have, and I don't want to ask my parents. And though in my family, my mother only earned some, and then I don't want. They were also very clear. After you are 2022, we support a certain time, and then you have to find your thing, right? So I was like, okay, maybe. Then I used to get offers in Malayalam cinema even in 2002, 3, 4 around, but I used to say no to it because the one film I did, I was like, I don't think it's my cup of tea. Just to do some part of a whole story, you do action and then you just act that bit. Then later you do another scene. It didn't come to me or I didn't understand it because in theater you are slowly making it. Like it feels like you are part of even pre-production in cinema. That's how you feel about theater. Like you slowly you make it. It's also yours. And then you end up doing it, and then the whole thing you perform, and then another show you can perform differently. So it was like a different thing for me. But cinema was like, oh, you act this part of the story, then you act that part of the story. Some people you don't even meet, and you don't need to meet. And I was like, I'm not enjoying this process, I felt. And so I didn't go for a long time. Then when I came back and I realized, no, maybe people were calling, and I realized that I will make more money in this, and which will help me sustain, is when I started doing it. I still thought it's even act. I always used to be like, maybe I'm not even an actor. I used to think that even in theater, I wanted like actors production where you also get to direct a bit. You're also involved in the screenplay and script developing. So I thought I'll enjoy other things because acting alone was not something that I was enjoying so much. So I was like, But then I think doing in film for years, then particularly going for these classes. One of my best friends, her name is Kapila. She's a Kudiyattam artist and she's an amazing actress. So her father offers these classes called Navarasa Sadhana. So I think going to that class and going to that workshop a couple of times started making me like acting a bit. I think that is when I started actually like paying attention to it more than ever before. And that's what I would say.
Did they like make you do like exercises that made you like that really opened up a part of your brain that you didn't know earlier?
No, it must be. I mean, I think anything that you learn new, it does. I mean, there is neuroplasticity. I mean, like I'm pretty sure if you learn something new, there is new things opens up. So I'm sure it happened by default. But I think it was also the approach they have, and their classes made me pay attention to just the single thing called acting alone for once. And I was like, there is something. And also, actually, my school also I really loved the one I went to Paris, but that was not about cinema acting or anything. It was more a lot of physical acting, like slapstick comedy or anything physical and all that. So that was something else. You're never supposed to put your psychological thoughts in that process at all. You have to just react as it is. And it's really fun to do like that. So that's what I used to enjoy before. Yeah. I mean, I still enjoy that actually.
I mean, you kind of have like the breakthrough year like 2024 does. You have Killer Soup, you have Poacher, you have All We Imagine, and obviously like Girls Will Be Girls. You kind of have the year that you do. Has your life changed at all? Like, I mean, now that there is significantly more recognition, I would imagine, right? Compared to like before 2024 and after 2024.
I mean, what is very sweet is like a lot of fellow actors or fellow artists that I really admire, and I mean, you get to meet them, or like there is a communication, or like it opened up to a lot more different connections for me. But work-wise, most of the work that have come to me this year, it was something already coming. I don't feel it is because of what happened last year. I don't.
Okay.
I mean, there is one or two things have come like that, but it's not like, oh, this happened and suddenly your life changed. The change is only like it used to be a little, you feel a little coy when you go out, like too many sometimes, now I feel better. It has calmed down. Otherwise it was too much of something, like you got everything, hey, this thing, and I was not, I feel better now. Good it happened, but good it's over.
I was asking Adarsh Gaurav about what changed after the White Tiger, because he was doing like a bunch of these like tiny roles up till his first leading role in the Netflix film, and he said suddenly like in the offers, my character's screen time just went up.
So for me,
Like,
that kind of change happened not now. I think it was I won a state award in Kerala. That is when, for me, that kind of a change happened since then only. It was not this.
that was for biryani, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
yeah.
How do you rate the industries like working in Kerala vis-a-vis working in Mumbai? Like, what is one thing one industry does better than the other? I mean, you could probably tell me one each if there is such a thing.
I mean, I have worked mostly in Hindi now, I think, than in Kerala.
Right.
Somehow. But both Kerala, Bombay, some in Tamil Nadu. These are the only three places I have worked. In that, I find Bombay shoots most organized and in communication to actors, from producers, actors to directors, to all logistical stuff, to or day-to-day planning of what time shoot starts, to all that is kind of more professional in Bombay
Right.
for me than South, especially. It's like I think it's been running like that for a long time, that it's in everyone's report. So there is hardly any chaos or miscommunication.
Right.
Very rarely I have experienced that in Bombay as well, where I'm got surprised also. Oh, okay, in Bombay also this can happen like that. But mostly, at least 99% of the time, whoever I worked with, it's been very smooth communication. There is no, and also about, for one thing I feel is about payment and everything is very clear. It will be on time, and very rarely it all goes on a haywire. But in Tamil and Malayalam, in all these things, they are way behind. To have a contract, paying people on time, to everything is. There are some people who keeps it, but it's not a standard practice there yet.
Yeah.
In Bombay, I feel no matter who you work with, at least whatever is promised and everything generally gets delivered and all that.
Yeah.
But while I say this, I find Malayalam stories or like the screenplay and how people work and the sense, like generally the sense of how to make this, I find in Malayalam industry a little further than Tamil or Bombay when I think of the creative aspect of it.
Absolutely.
Even while they might be doing it in a chaotic way, they might make the scene. Finally, the process of making that creative, the art or that story or the film that you're making, the process might be slightly chaotic and which will make other people suffer also. While that is all there, the end product, I mostly love what is made in Malayalam than Tamil or in Hindi generally. I'm not meaning proportionately if I were to look at it. But in terms of everything else, I any day prefer Bombay. Yeah.
You mentioned this period between like 2009 and 2019. So the first time I remember noting, okay, who is this actor? I mean, I've seen her somewhere, and she seems like really interesting. It was a short film I saw of yours. I think it was called Counterfeit. Kunkoo. And I thought it was such a fascinating film, and you were so good in that film. Tell me a little bit about that decade where you were doing short films, and like what intrigued you about the format of the short film.
No, I mean, no such thing. I mean, one
Were
thing
you
was short
exploring?
films.
Like, were you just exploring? Like, what were you?
No, I was just like short films. I used to like in terms of, I was just like, okay, even if you end up doing something bad, only some people will watch it. It's okay. It was more like, oh, somebody wants to make a feature film. Before feature film, they're trying out something. So it's like,
Right.
we all are trying out something. Was the space for short film in my mind? I didn't recognize short film as a form in the beginning. I mean, it's my fault, but I used to think that it's like all of us are trying out something, how to relate with this medium or something like that. So I used to feel more freer with short films, but that was not the case. Whatever came to me, I used to do. But in that decade, I also, there were 2 years I was outside. I was working with a French theatre company, 2012 and 13. And then I was also not acting for some time. I was just fully practicing sitar 2014 and 13. All that I was 15 that time. I got very much involved in it or invested in it. And then after 2015-16, that time, whatever short films came, I did. It was not, I also did a Malayalam serial also that time. It's not like oh, I chose to do only short film. Nothing like that. It's just like, okay, that's what happened. Actually, Biryani was shot also in 2018 beginning.
Right.
It came out much late,
Okay.
2018, is that correct? Yeah, 2018 beginning is when they were shooting it. So I'm saying that I did that also at that time. So it was just like that. It's not something particularly I was choosing. The thing is, like, a lot of short films I did is mostly directed by women. And
Right.
I was very happy to just work with them because it was also not easy for women to just go and make a film. And they've written like different kind of female characters, and I was just like very happy to work with them and to explore with them and all that. But it was not like, oh, I actively went out and checked for it, or I actively decided I'll do just short film. Nothing. It came to me and it felt nice, and I felt like a connection between the director and me. Hence, I did it. It was nothing else, and I felt little like, for example, a feature film. You can feel that more responsibility in terms of if you have a throughout character, you may have to shoulder the film in a way and all that. Short film felt like, okay, tiny step, like one can try something like that.
That film also has Vijay Verma, right? If I'm not.
Yeah.
He's your husband, right? In that film.
Correct.
And I don't think he's had his breakout at that point. I think when he did that
But
film.
he's been a friend of Reema since a long time. Before that short film, Reema did a music video. Vijay was in that as well.
Like, it was so nice to like see you guys again, like in OK Computer together.
Yeah. So we both were also very, he used to joke about it, like, oh, we were in a completely different world now. You're in a completely different world.
I want to like talk at length about OK Computer because I think it's a very interesting show. It didn't like fully work for me, but it's also the kind of like humor that's like so hard to nail, right? The whole slapstick, almost like stoner comedy. Anyway,
but it was not just about slaps. It was also very whimsical. I think it was quite
whimsical, exactly.
Whimsical and absurd space and everything. So yeah.
I want to talk to you a little bit about like mainstream cinema anywhere, like whether it's down south or whether it's like in Bombay. They have these like very rigid diktats for aspiring actors. Like you have to like look a certain way, you have to speak in a certain way, like you have to fit into the mold of like what it takes to be a star actor or actress, however you want to like. That process when you're like probably trying to carve your niche in a place like Bombay, like do those rigid diktats ever like plant doubt in yourself? Am I good enough? Do I fit in over here? Is this for me?
First of all, I never came to Bombay like that.
Right. Okay.
I think Bombay came to me.
That's a nice
that kind of things I think from childhood only. I see, either you are so, like you can't live without acting. That kind of passion. I don't have that kind of passion for acting. I have fellow friends who are that kind of passion they have, and they probably have to go to Bombay and they have to do things. And I have friends who are being successful also. I have friends who still not getting that enough work. All of that is there. But I never had that. So I always been like sitting wherever I am, and if some, like even including Counterfeit, Kunkoo, or like any short films, even Payal actually reached out to me in 2017 or something for this film, and I was supposed to do the part Anu. Actually, she's seen a short film of mine, Memories of a Machine, and then she wrote to me, and she said, Kani, I would like, and she also haven't gone to with any short film of hers to Cannes or anything at that time. Even I am like, nobody. We are just like, oh, there is a girl who is in FTI. It was just like that. So that's what I'm saying. I have no problem with people who is trying out, because I think people who have passion for it should be doing it. Because I did not have that kind of mad passion for this. I've been just like at home doing my stuff, and okay, this is coming. Okay, I'll do. But there is one thing, like I love doing comedy. So I'll be like, I wish I got that. I can always feel. I think only that comedy is the only genre probably I can feel sad if I didn't get a part, or I can see something on like watch a film or watch a series, and I'm like, oh, that person didn't do it. I mean, only if that actor didn't do enough well for me, I'm like, oh shit, I could have done better than that. I should have done it, like something like that. Or if I don't do well, I'm like, shit, my friend actor, she would have done it better. Like all that I'll feel. Right. But only comedy, I feel that missing out, I can feel. But otherwise, I'm I'm like, whatever comes, I'll do. Okay, like I'm a bit laid back that way. So
Do you think that that's worked out in your favor? Like not like being like absolutely consumed by acting. I mean, has that like worked in your favor?
I don't know. I
Okay,
don't know. Maybe
so
after many years I can say now. Right now I'm not able to say. But
fair.
like you said, that will I fit in all these things? No, those are things that I probably never had in my life, or even if I've had, I would be 11 or 12. Once I grew up, once I was 15 or 16, I think I am pretty sure I always believed everybody fits in this world, and I don't think that will ever come in my way. I don't think anybody can do that to me. No, that is not there.
I was listening to this like recent interview by Konkona Sharma, where she was basically talking about being typecast as this woman of substance, which she thinks kind of like like hindered her career in some way because she also wanted to play like problematic characters, and she just wasn't being offered those because everyone just
Yeah.
perceived her to be this woman of substance, like who with the right politics and everything. Uh, I mean, have
Where is
you
the problematic characters are written also in Hindi cinema? I'm just curious.
agreed? Agreed.
I mean, I wish
That's
like
true.
somebody writes that and everybody gets all kinds of characters, but I don't
Agreed.
even see much wide, like, range of female characters are written also so much in Hindi cinema, so much like all kinds of people, right? We are all kinds of people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like, has that happened to you? That was going to be my question.
Yeah,
Has it
yeah,
happened to you where you're only approached for like a certain
yeah.
kind of roles? Like,
All
can
the
you
time.
elaborate a little bit on that?
It's not just me. Everybody. I think even stars are approached like that in this country. If there is a hit for a star, that star is approached for the same kind of genre, same kind of character for the next 2-3 years till another hit comes. I
Yeah.
don't feel bad because I think all actors are treated like that. In that we are very democratic. We will only typecast. Jokes apart, I'm saying there's two ways that I try to approach. I mean, I would love to approach. I have not been able to approach like that. The thing is, sometimes it's just like what Konkana ma'am said is absolutely right. Like, because they're asking her to have a certain personality in any whatever, no matter what you do. So that happens. That's really sad because sometimes you may get a police role, and then you remember even now, like especially in the 80s and 90s, even in Malayalam cinema, if there is somebody who is doing a police role, he's always or she's always doing police character in every film. If there's a
Yeah.
doctor, there's a doctor look. There's a police
Mm.
look. So this used to happen. The only thing was, there are a lot of police people, there are a lot of doctors. All of them are different. No teachers are alike. Like we can always bring that character differences. No, even if your job is the same, and even if you're the same, even if you're a police, you can be like very stubborn. You can be like
Of
very
course.
laid back
Of
police,
course.
not but still bright, but not bright. Like you can make all these combinations, but most of the time directors will come and tell us, no, do the exact what you did in the previous. We want only that. Imagine I am only going to get teachers or I'm only going to get nurse all my life, and I can play some like 50 different kind of nurses. That would be so amazing and commendable. But what happens is like, no, do what you did before, try that only. Like they give references of your own something, so that always happens. But I am not even sad about it. Like I said, I feel everyone is, including
Mhm.
star actors, to all actors are approached that way. Like,
Yeah.
because I think it's people are scared to take any kind of risk where
Yeah.
whatever worked last time should probably will work again. So let's not risk it, kind of.
Have you auditioned in Mumbai?
Yeah.
Okay. And what's your experience been like with the casting agencies and everything? Like, what's the kind of
All
feedback
my
you've
work
gotten?
I have done. I have auditioned. Poacher, I have auditioned. Killer Soup, I have auditioned. Piles film also I have auditioned. She came for me to do the other character, but by the time she ended up making the film, I grew a lot. So I
Fair
was
enough.
like, Payal, I don't think that character. She said, do you want to audition for the other part? Because the other part, she was not thinking much about me. Because when she came to me, I was only 31 and she was thinking, we'll play a 26-year-old or 27-year-old while I was 31. It was the idea. But then I have auditioned for that also. I have auditioned for, I think recently I did a Hindi film. Is the only time I have not auditioned. I think that has been one change. After All We Imagine or Girls Will Be Girls, I think some Hindi project came to me and they said, no audition, you just come. But I don't mind audition. I actually like all that. I don't mind a reading. I don't mind, like you also get an idea, will you be able to do it or not? I actually like it a little bit. At least a rehearsal I would prefer if they don't do an audition, because then in the rehearsal you get a sense that what's your, what is happening exactly. Otherwise, I always audition. Or I think only in Malayalam and Tamil they don't audition.
Right.
Yet.
You're walking down the red carpet in Cannes 2024 for All We Imagine's premiere. Tell me a little bit about like what's going through your head when you're like walking down the red carpet.
I mean, because we were there 2 days before or 3 days before, I don't remember it exactly now. And when, because we used to walk on that same street and we could see every day ka red carpet happening right there. And so the previous day when I walked, I saw it and I was like, oh, it's like a live performance, which I was very happy because I'm from theater. I like anything live. I like to interact with people on a live, So that way I was very much excited to, otherwise I was like, what red carpet is now? But I was like, wow, this is so good. Like you walk and you're like, hey, that is, I just like that idea of, I have done sometimes modeling, but not as a model, just because as an actor, do you want to model like that way? So anytime that I've done just getting photo shoot, I never enjoyed that. But there is one or two times I have went for RAM as a showstopper. And I absolutely loved it. I was like, I love being on stage. I love that live feeling where I can look into the person and there is a communication live that is happening. Red carpet felt similar and that's exactly what I like. I just love all the we are going to, and I think whatever we did is just spontaneously happened because this song was also played in the film and Divya's character and Chayaji's character danced for this, and so we knew and Payal said that's we are going to play, and we're like, oh, so because the day we shot it also everybody was just dancing, so that song came, so everyone just like spontaneously it just happened, nothing else. But we were just happy also after the shoot. A lot of some crew who could come, they came, everybody was there to be together. It was more of that kind of a happy moment. But I think I like this live and those things, so I think I really enjoyed it. I mean, at least to me there was no such thing. I was just very happy there to be with everyone, and this song was there. I remember these photographers, they would call you like, hey, look here. So it was like it was for me, the performance element is between the photographer and you. Like there is something going on there.
Yeah.
That I enjoyed as an actor. There is a performance quality as well that I could see that was coming out. But otherwise it was just like, Divya, Chayaji, Payal, everybody is just there. We are just happy. Ridu was there. So it was just that.
Like mainstream filmmaking, like whichever industry we might talk about. I mean, they tend to have this effect where they kind of like homogenize their actors. Everyone starts to like perform like the other person, or the reference is also like a different person that they've seen in another film, maybe a past film or something like that. I mean, first of all, do you feel like mainstream filmmaking tends to like quash individuality? And what is your...
Is it only in mainstream film? You don't feel it in independent films? I feel it more in independent films than in mainstream films. Independent films, I feel it way more. They come with a certain way of acting. Most people want to do everything underplay. Most directors from independent films don't express so much, very underplay, go slow. And there is a certain meter they look for, I feel. Most independent films of India particularly, I'm not talking about other independent films, other countries. I feel it equally there in both mainstream and in independent films. Very rarely there are original authors that exist in both mainstream and in independent. This thing that you're saying lingers in both equally.
Okay.
For me, it's not one is over to the other. It's the same. Like, oh, you are like Smita Patel and then act like Smita Patel. Or you are like this other actor, or no, like. I'm not saying independent films should be like that or all independent films from India is like that, but most of it will have a certain rhythm, a certain way of looking, certain way of acting style. Directors, actors all bring that. And sometimes directors want it also. That's why probably actors are bringing it. I don't know. But the same way mainstream. Mainstream also may have largely something that people are. But there will be always some mainstream directors who doesn't do it. They will go originally. They will just discover what that story is about in there and then. along with their actors and other artists in the film.
Right.
Similarly, there'll be some independent films where they discover that as well. So that is just, I don't think it has nothing to do with just being mainstream or only independent. It just, sometimes people fall into, including me, I will fall into also a certain style of acting, and everybody, it is always that push and new form, new things has to come and or push you, either push yourself as a rigorous artist. If you don't push, maybe you're lucky enough to work with an amazing director who will push you so that you break that. Otherwise, everybody tend to fall into a certain kind of thing.
How do you hold on to your individuality in in a business where, like you're mentioning, whether it's mainstream or independent, everyone is trying to clone the most successful person, or at least like that's the feeling that I've got from like observing the industry. How do you be like, no, I'm okay the way I am. I don't have to be something else.
I think some of us are that. I mean, I am not alone there or anything. I feel there has always been artists like that, and they continue to be. I think now more have such individuality than any other time, maybe. That's all choice. And sometimes, you can also fall into see, as long as it's all your choice, it's like a play. It's like, like you're like, oh, let me just fall into the stream and swim along with them. Or now I don't want to swim along. Let me go into, and then I'll walk for some time. Or as long as you are deciding all this and you want to do it, that's great. I mean, if you have such choices, but sometimes you don't have such choices. And I probably don't want to be in a place like that. But I think sometimes people can enjoy it also. Maybe some people enjoy it. So that's why they are there. Sometimes it can be not because they enjoy it. They have to, because that's the only way to survive. So, I mean, ideal world would be to embrace the diversity. If we can embrace the diversity for as a viewer also, as even if I were to never be an actor, I just want to watch films or watch anything, and that we can coexist with all kinds of diverse expressions of art and cinema and literature, everything, that would be the best. But cinema particularly is like made with a lot of money, so there is a lot of risk. So people tend to make the same thing because you want to somehow reduce the risk. So I understand that. I mean, I hope for a future where we don't have to be like that.
Like interesting opportunities, I mean, they can be rare, especially like you were mentioning, like especially like for female actors, and if you're like looking to do like a certain kind of work. I mean, from the thing that I've gauged by like talking to actors, it's between projects that like actors tend to lose their mind when they don't know what's coming next. How do you deal with the wait between projects?
I mean, sometimes it's hard, but I try to not wait. This idea of waiting. I want to have a life where I have my things to do. And when a work comes, oh, now I'll take a break from my life and I go to them. That's how I always approach. I'm not like, oh, my life is acting and acting in films. Now that I don't have it, I'll sit and wait here. No. So, like, I have my own things going on always. My own one, like, whatever it is. Like sometimes practicing sitar, or maybe go to gym, or sometimes practicing my own, some acting things that I've learned. Maybe I just want to practice it every day, look at things or read, and then, or spend time with quality time with people I love, and many, many things that you can, I mean, you can't always afford these things. These are also privileged. That's sometimes you get that because you make some money, and then this money you can spend to the time that you can nurture yourself, you can resume, you can go learn something, and then again go do a workshop or learn some acting, learn poetry, or learn something that all can add to your future work as well. So something like that. The only problem with actors sometimes is like it is long and we don't have that money to sustain ourselves for that period of time. That is where the problem comes in. So like in some developed European countries, they support artists when they don't have work. If we also had such things, I think actors won't feel that waiting so much, because it's also good to do one work in 2 years also. If you really do it well and you can really, that's also enough sometimes. You can always enrich yourself by learning, writing, or many things you can do. But the thing is, it's not about that, because you are like, oh, how will I pay my rent next month? How will I do this and that? And like, you have to have a certain amount of money to sustain yourself when you don't have work. So you should know that it is there, so that you can be calm and quiet and then quietly practice your thing. That only comes with only some actors with some level, so that they have enough money to sustain. Sometimes you don't have that. That is a problem only. But if I'm talking about only actors who have that enough money, right now I'm in a good place, but I was not always in good places as well. But in a good place, I don't feel like, oh, I'm waiting. I'm okay. I like a day. I like a day with myself, and I'm very happy like that. And I have I always feel one life is not even enough. If I have more time, I would probably start learning piano as well, because I love it. Only thing is resources. If resources is there, I think, just go start learning things whenever I have time. That's what I want to do, in fact. And I want to take a break from that only to go act. It's the other way around for me. Yeah.
So, like, Kani, I'm actually like talking about like that period where you don't have the resources, okay? And I'm basically like you want to do like a certain kind of work, and you need the work, God knows. And
Yeah.
But I mean, like you probably have this value system within you that won't permit you to like take that kind of work. I mean, tell me a little bit about that struggle of like not having the resources, having work getting offered to you, but something that just doesn't align with how you see the work.
When I have had less money, I'm living my life that way. I've always, it was never a thing. Is I am very privileged that way. Like, I don't have to give money to my family. So a lot of people may have to take care of their family. Then that's a big, I don't think
Huge.
People who have such responsibility can even say opt acting or things, freelance jobs, basically. I have to always take care of me only. That I have managed. I have always managed, because I'm like, okay, this is the only money I have. Okay, I live like that. It's been like that, but I had something always. So if nothing, I had friends who had nothing. So then they will take a loan from other friends. All that I have seen. I thankfully did not have to go reach there still now. So I mean, how to do that? I don't think there's any way. Like I've not had like an extreme level where, oh, I don't know. I am also someone who is very middle class that way. I always save. I don't spend anything. I only spend it for food, and I'm like that kind of a person. So I will always have some saving too. I will not be like suddenly, oh, I don't reach there.
That's great.
But I always thought, oh, if I don't get any work and it reaches, I'll do any job. That was my spirit. I'll do probably cleaning. I like cleaning houses. Maybe I can go do cleaning job. I think like that.
You seem to have this knack for like physical comedy. It's a hard skill to master, I would imagine, right? I mean, physical comedy. I mean, it's not like
that's something I actually absolutely love, and I was absolutely no, and I was so happy to see Radhika's Sister Midnight, because it's full of physical comedy, and Radhika is someone I again know from a long time. So I was just so happy to see that. Like, and I think this Hindi film Jaane Bhi Do Yaro also something I love.
Of course, yeah.
I would love to see things like that. Sometimes nonsensical, this and that. Yeah. I mean, it's not a knack. Of course, I was always attracted to it, and that's why I went to study in a school. Not about slapstick comedy. The school is not about that, but school is more about physical acting and how do you take cue from your body reactions, things like that. Yeah, that's something I actually anyway was always drawn to. So
I mean, I would imagine OK Computer was like slightly like whimsical and slapstick, like you mentioned. I mean, was your Killer Soup character, I mean, the martial art angle, was it already like written in?
Yeah, it was already there. It was in I auditioned for it. It was in the audition. It was written that if you know Kalari or if you know some martial art, it would help. So in the audition, I had to do a certain. I have learned Kalari little bit way before, so I knew little bit. So I made a piece for that, and that was also there. But I was not very good at it or anything. It's like also okay. Yeah.
but it's like one of the surprises of the show, right? Like I don't think anyone was expecting her to like suddenly fight back in that situation. So I thought that was like hilarious first of all, and I thought you were so good, and it was such a great subversion of the scene. Basically, I think you accidentally fall and you die. I think in that.
Yeah. I like that moment.
Yeah, it was such a great moment. I thought it was like such a bizarre and keeping in with the.
And also, Abhishek sir wanted me to be like in a very weird position of once I fall. Right. I like that too.
What were your feelings like when OK Computer came out?
Something like that. I know that it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea. I knew that. But coming from theatre, no, I love being part of shows like that. And I want to be part of such things only. If there was a choice, I always want to be in the most experimental and hey, let's just, like children, we are just going and we're going to do something, I think there should be always some room for such things as well in art and literature and cinema. There should be always something that may be flop, that may be whatever. It's okay. But allow ourselves to, make that risk. But if everything becomes that, maybe we can't afford it like being a developing country. Otherwise, I would love that space to always exist in every genre, in everything where you just, go. So I knew that it may be not everyone's, and it can be also it is also possible if it was released in some other time, maybe everybody gets it also. It all can happen sometimes. You don't know that. It is my most favorite character I have played on screen till now, date in my life, because I had so much fun doing that as well. So that way I was very happy. But the thing is, a lot of things I don't understand also because my lack of Hindi. I mean, maybe there could have been things in the edit or things could have done where it's correct, but it doesn't matter. They directed it for the first time. It's their thing. And I think there should be always room for such, like Lijojo Spellisheri, this director from...
Of course, yeah.
So Lijo's this fun film, which was flop, which is my favorite film of his, which is Double Barrel. It was a flop and nobody talks about it, but I love that film. It seems like insane. And
is it a comedy?
Yeah, it is dark and it was but a flop. No, but I love that film. I think that if I were to not act in OK Computer and I was in Kerala and if I were to watch this, I am that one of that niche audience of OK Computer will be like, what was that? Oh my God. Nice. Some people went crazy there. I mean, within that world also it can be better. Of course, everything can be always better, but I would just be happy with that attempt, That was my thing. So I was okay. I mean, I have no problem that didn't work for most people.
Now that you've tasted, like the best things that probably in your profession, like you've had the year that you've kind of had. I mean, what's your mind space like? The way you choose work, has that changed at all?
No, I think nothing changed in my life really. I just had a good time. The more you do these things, you can see a certain respect is going higher or all that kind of things you do recognize. But I think that drastic change I felt genuinely was that state award in Kerala. That I genuinely felt there was sudden difference when people call for me for work. What I asked is basic mostly. This basic is not given in film industry most of the time. So that basic were given to me after that state award. That was quite serendipitous. It was a good time. It was a happy time. It was really nice to work with Payal, Divya, Chayaji, Asiseka or Hrudu. Everybody, it was just nice. Like Ronavir, like the DOP and the crew, everybody. It was just nice time. So it was really nice to celebrate it. Similarly, Shuchi's film Girls Will Be also. It was a really nice crew, and Preeti is one of the most amazing co-actor I've ever had, and Keshav and everybody. Just like it was good memory, whatever we did. So to cherish that is also nice. It's something like that is what I feel. Like I said, there is a certain power changing. I can feel how people talk to me, or if some story comes to me, either I don't ask anything because they seem very close-minded. But not all of them. Most people are open-minded directors, and they'll be like, hey, what do you think? So I'll say things. But I've seen after a certain time, if you say that people really pay attention to what you say and everything. So that kind of change, and I'm like, that I can observe. Or in terms of if you want to ask something, that's what I'm saying. It should be for everyone. It's not something that should be given to someone only because they had a certain journey or anything.
The success, does it make you a little more fearful about your choices? What if the next film or the next show, it doesn't live up to,
I always do a lot of bad things also. Sometimes things come together also, something good and horrible, and I'm like, oh my God. But you always know that it's okay. I mean, this could have been bad also. Who knows? No such thing. So, no, there is nothing. I don't think so much about these things. My only thing is, if I like the story, best. But sometimes you don't like the story. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I like this director. I think I'm learning something. So it's different things for me. And sometimes everything can go wrong in a shoot. And I'm like, oh, when it comes out, it will be bad. Everybody knows that also. And it will be bad also. So those are always been there. It will continue to be also, I know.
I think I read like one of your interviews where you said, like now my next goal is to be like financially secure.
Yeah.
After
I say
24,
this.
do you feel that like as an actor, like are you like in a space where you're
Yeah,
financially
I'm not in a bad place.
right?
Definitely. That I feel. But I also realize for freelance actors or freelance any artist, I don't think we ever will feel secure in that way because we don't know what is happening next year. There is no, so
Exactly.
that way we will never feel, I think.
Can you tell us a little bit about like what you're working on next? I mean, is there something that you can share?
I shot for Maharani season 4 just
Right.
now.
Right.
And then one Hindi film, I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about it right now. So there is one thing. There is a Tamil film. It's a very small budget, it's very small film. I don't know what it will be even, but I'm just going to do it, I think. Then only end of the year, there is a Malayalam film. So this one, this Tamil, and there is one more Tamil film in September. We did not fix the date. These are things, and in August, I'm going to Locarno for the festival.
Thank you so much, Kani. Like I really appreciate you taking the time